Hi everyone, Coach Teresa here, and I am going to chat about friendship, relationships, and how it affects my personal training, how it affects my business. And I really think this is a concept that any successful trainer, anyone successful in life understands. And I want to share this concept of success in friendship, success in relationships with you. I see a lot of people in this day and age who don't know what friendship, or don't even understand the concept of a relationship. And that's part of the key to success. You should have a really strong self-worth, a really nice, healthy, humble concept of who you are, your self-esteem, and where that higher power you're linked into is going to influence your self-esteem, and that is going to play a huge role in your relationships with other people. It's pretty important to, as a trainer, not just put on the trainer hat. If you want to be successful as a personal trainer, who you are as a person is going to really influence the client you're working with. You can't help it. You can't fake this persona of being a personal trainer. If you want to be a personal trainer, you have to be gifted to be a personal trainer. Knowledge and education plays a huge aspect of that, but when you partner that with your natural talent, that's where you will shine. And I just want to share with you, I guess, like a parable or story of a life experience that helped me understand relationships. I'm not fixated on getting clients. It's something you have to do as a personal trainer. If you want to have a business, you of course have to advertise. You of course have to try to get a nice foundation of new clients that you can hopefully build a really great relationship with and keep growing. I'm the kind of personal trainer that I don't want people to become dependent on me. I want to educate them and empower them to keep growing in their fitness. I want them to come back to me as a trusted and reliable source of information, but I recognize I don't know everything. There's people out there who have a lot more education, a lot more knowledge, a lot more experience than I do, and I accept that and I applaud that, and I think that is the key to my success, is not feeling defeated or inferior to people who have more knowledge and more success than me. And I want people to have the self-confidence to know it's all right to go and find someone who has more knowledge and more experience. But I'm also very confident in the knowledge and the experience that I can successfully share with my clients. And like I have said in other videos, it does bring me quite a lot of joy to know that I have been able to successfully partner with someone and help them achieve a higher level of fitness to help meet their goals, and they're super happy. And of course, naturally, it's going to draw other clients to me when that happens. That's just pretty much the way the world works. And I'm pretty selective about who I work with, because that business model of success that I have in my head it's something that I learned through life. I grew up as a military brat. I moved around. Dad was always gone. Mom always worked her butt off, and I was always very active in hobbies and recreation, and then in competitive gymnastics and in dance. I didn't have time for friends. I wanted, oh gosh, I wanted nothing more than to be like the other girls in the neighborhood who had friends. When I was a young kid, gosh, it was awesome. Early 70s, mid 70s, you're out until sunset, and you're playing all the time. You got a gang of friends, and just everything's spontaneous and super fun and awesome. And as I was growing older, school got in the way of a lot of friendships. Gymnastics and dance got in the way of a lot of friendships. So I honestly have to say I really was yearning for friendships, for the ability to connect with tons of other girls and boys my age. And I think that's something everyone carries through life. It's a given. But I slowed down in my gymnastics training and went from one discipline of gymnastics into another. And during that break, or that sabbatical, I had a chance for the first time, I think I was 11 years old, 12 years old, to start making friends in the neighborhood and playing at, being a girl my age with friends. And I found that girls my age, by the time they were 11 and 12 years old, were manipulative, deceitful. They were going after material possessions, what people could do for them. They kind of lost that childlike ability to just spontaneously have fun, to enjoy the relationship with the people around them. So I was naturally drawn to girls a few years younger than me sometimes, but I was naturally drawn to girls I was in junior high school who like me, pretty shy, just wanted to enjoy life, were not interested in gaining knowledge about how adults work. I didn't people watch. I was kind of befuddled by people who people watch. At that age, by the time I was 12 into 13, a lot of girls, started acting like their moms, reading Cosmopolitan and Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. And, there's some pretty heavy, deep topics in these magazines that a little girl just can't relate to. So I would just push those away. I'm like, I don't get this. I don't want to get this. I want to put my Little Pony plush dolls up and just kind of admire them. I want to put my strawberry shortcakes, in a row on the shelf, and just kind of every once in a while go over and sniff her hair because she smells pretty cool, and I want to be like that, And Gem and the Holograms at the time, was a huge influence for me. G.I. Joe cartoons, because I grew up as a kid playing with all the boys in the military, G.I. Joe action figures, CoverGirl and Scarlet, and Snake Eyes against, the whole Cobra Commander and Destro Horde, and it was super fun, it was innocent. And finally they're on TV. There's a cartoon about them, and I just, that was my point of view of life as a child. Oh boy. And I connected to a couple of these really shallow girls my age, and as I grew up with them, I still stayed in touch with them. I went back into dance and gymnastics with a vengeance. I was a top level rhythmic gymnast, and then Governor's Magnet School ballerina through high school. Kind of blew out my knee, was not cool, blew out my knee. The rhythmic gymnastics stuff just didn't go. I was heartbroken. Mom was furious. Dad was like, I don't know what happened to Dad. He pretty much snapped because Mom was insanely mad that I wasn't going to stick it out. But I wanted a life, and I wanted a support system of positive people, and I just wasn't getting that as a 15-year-old. But I still had those friendship connections I made earlier in life. So I reconnected with them in high school, and I at that point started people watching. And I was blessed with a gang of girls in the neighborhood that I could relate to. One girl was a Caucasian, a redhead. Her her dad and her stepmom were really close to us, just the next house over, and she scared me. That girl, she was, she wanted to sow her wild seeds, and she was brainwashed to believe that as a Baptist Christian, she had to be this way, but behind the scenes, behind her parents, she was a wild child. And then the house across from me, there was a pretty large family, and the eldest girl there actually was my best friend when we lived in Navy housing, you know, like over a decade ago. And she had been kidnapped when I was a child. That was a childhood trauma that really just freaked me out. 5 years old, 4 years old baby, I remember just bawling my eyes out finding out my best friend had been kidnapped. And you know, I found out later, you know, they finally got her, but after all that, you know, like that was really exciting to reconnect with her when I was 12 years old. She moved into our neighborhood where we were living at that time, and it was cool, but we never really reconnected at 12 years old like we did when we were 4 years old. And I understood that concept. I understood how a 4-year-old relationship is not going to be the same as a 12-year-old, you know, relationship. And at 12 years old, I kind of didn't like her, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we would have fun times. She still had that childlike, really cool sense of spontaneous fun. We were playing tag and relive our young Navy housing days. In the summertime as a teenager, we just really had a lot of fun. But she grew up, by the time I was 15, to be very promiscuous. I mean, it behind her parents' back, but in the house and in their bed, having sex with all the neighborhood boys, and just beyond crazy, I'll be honest with you. I mean, to me, that was crazy because as a 15-year-old, I truly believe you're still a child. You shouldn't be throwing your childhood away, and that's what she was doing. And I felt sad for her, and I felt sad for my other friend next, you know, one house over, who wanted to throw away their childhood. You know, I at that point when I was 15, I pretty much gave up on friendships. I had, you know, some friends that I would hang out with, and most of them were boys, I'll be honest with you. Because at 15, 16, 17, the majority of girls in high school, they were drunks. I'll never forget, you know. The gang of girls in my neighborhood, we would go over to a friend who had a car, and in the morning we would all get into the car and drive to high school together, because God forbid we get on the school bus, right? So I'll never forget, you know, like this one, you know, little Filipino chick, you know, and I can relate to her because I'm Puerto Rican, I'm ethnic. I don't know if you guys know that, but I'm ethnic, so I can relate to the ethnic kids pretty well, whereas I couldn't relate to the white, non-practicing Christian or full-on fundamental Christian cult or ultra-conservative Baptists who are very hypocritical in their religion. Let me honest with you. Whereas the ethnic, you know, the Latinas and the Filipinas and you know, the ethnic people who I could relate to, because, you know, we had this family, you know, we weren't hypocritical, you know, we were a little bit more meek, more quiet, more contemplative, and non-judgmental. There were still people, you know, who, like my dear friend I'm going to talk about, who, this little Filipina, she was sowing her wild oats. She was a wild child behind the scenes. And in an ethnic community, when you do that, you're shaming your entire family. It's not just you being shameful. It's the weight and the guilt of you are disappointing not only your mother, your father, your siblings, but your ancestors. Let me tell you, they brainwash you really well into believing the indigenous, the native culture, you know, Native American, or if you're Filipino, you know, that Pacific Islander mentality of that spiritual understanding that your relationships are really important, not only in the now, but in the past and in the future. And so this poor little Filipina, she was pretty much an alcoholic. She hid her alcoholism from a lot of people, but she kind of didn't hide it from the other girls, And one morning, I'll never forget, she's screaming her head off, "Tina, pull over! I'm gonna puke! I'm gonna puke!" And Tessa, rolls down the window, and I'm in the back seat with this other girl, Jennifer, and we're just like, and before Tina can pull over, the car's still moving. We're on this backcountry road. Tessa's puking her guts out, and it's just spewing out the side of the car window and down the side of the car, hitting the window next to me, because she was right in front of me. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how the hell does someone get to this point in their life that they can't hide their problems from their friends? And, I felt really bad for her, but I didn't know what to do for her. I hadn't a clue. How do you comfort someone like that who's so addicted to pain and misery, and putting up such a false front, and it's wrong, and she's miserable? I mean, how do you help someone like that? And let me tell you, as a 16, 17-year-old kid, as a teenager, I hadn't a clue, so I just kept my mouth shut, because that's all I knew what to do.